Hi guys, welcome to Yoga Lattes with SJ and to this at-home full body workout that is low impact. This is an indoor walking workout. You don't require any equipment and we're just going to start here in a walk on the spot. So just starting to march the legs, starting to swing the arms. We are warming up and we are going to get a very full body workout today. We're going to be getting our cardio as well as our strength training, toning, all of the good things. So keeping this going, seeing if you can lift those knees up a little bit higher here, making sure that you're breathing, shoulders are down and away from the ears, and finding an evenness through both sides of the feet. Beautiful, keep this going. Seeing if you can keep a neutral pelvis, your core is engaged, ribs are closed. Now we're going to start to step the toes of one foot out to the side and then the other. As you do this, you're just finding that the arm is lifting of that opposite side and you're bending through the elbows, shoulders away from the ears, keeping a neutral pelvis, keeping your core engaged. You can do a little hop through the center if you want to, or you can keep this really low. So working at your own pace, we are challenging ourselves, but we're also making sure that we're being really true to how we're feeling today, our energy levels. So keeping this going, it's almost as though you are pressing the outside of that hip out and you are keeping the knees directly pointed forward. Beautiful work, keeping that core engaged, keeping everything nice and stable and still. Jaw is relaxed, muscles of the face are relaxed. And then we are coming back to that march in place. Seeing if you can lift those knees up even higher, using your core to lift the knee, swinging the arms, keeping the shoulders relaxed. And you're relaxing through the fingers. We are not clenching the jaw. And then you're inhaling as you bring the arms up. Exhale as you press the palms out to the sides. Shoulders down and away from the ears. Inhale, sweeping the arms up. Exhale, pressing those palms out, spreading wide through the fingers. Inhale, sweeping the arms. Exhale, pressing those palms out. Nice, coming back to your walk in place. And then we are starting to lift one knee up, bringing the elbow over the opposite arm to that knee and then placing the foot down and coming to the other side. Keeping this going, so seeing if you can lift that knee up as high as you can, keeping the hips square to the side edge of your mat. So you're still keeping a really neutral pelvis here. You're using your core to lift that knee up and drawing the elbow of the opposite arm to the inside of the knee. Nice. And now starting to sweep the arms out to the sides and continuing here. So we're just letting the arms come to the same side as what the knee is lifting, and we are keeping the core engaged, making sure you're breathing. Don't hold your breath, working slow or working faster. Keeping this going, ribs are closed. Beautiful work. We are definitely warming up. This is an amazing workout. We're getting everything here in this 20 minutes. Nice and short and sweet with everything you need. Beautiful, and a couple more, and then let's stay here, starting to bring the arms forward, spreading wide through the fingers, and the toes are pointing out, heels are slightly turned in, starting to press the palms to the back wall, and then you're bringing the arms back out in front of you, so just about shoulder height here. And then we're starting to step one foot back as you sweep the arms forward, palms facing inward, and then you are starting to tap the toes of the opposite foot back. So we've got our feet about hip distance. You are keeping the elbows soft, not locking out through those elbow joints. Softness into the knees and keeping this going. We don't want the knees going forward of the toes. So making sure that you are just kind of coming straight back and slightly down rather than coming too far forward. Nice. And then we're going to start to bring a little bit more into this. So starting to reach those arms forward and really bringing one foot back and then the other. Nice work. Keep it going. Moving at your own pace. So good, you guys. You're getting fit. You are getting strong. All of the things. It's only 20 minutes and we are already a quarter way through. So good. So good for coordination as well. Nice. Let's stay here, and we are starting to come to hold on to something. So you can come to a wall if you want to for some balance, or you might want to test your balance and just bring the hands onto the hips. We're starting to sweep the arms up and then exhale, releasing the arms down, keeping your core engaged. And you're starting to bring your weight to the left foot, and you're starting to lift the right leg out, lowering it back down. So it is a lift of that leg, the outer hip, the outside of the glute, and then keeping that connection as you start to lower the leg back down. Just making sure that you are keeping everything else still here. You're working into the outer thigh, the outside of the glute. The core is needing to stay really, really still to stabilize this. You've got softness into that supporting knee, and shoulders are relaxed. And let's come straight over to the other side, finding that balance here, and then we are starting to find the weight even through that right foot, and you're stepping the toes of the left foot out and lifting and lowering, really bringing your mind to that outer thigh and the outer hip as you draw the leg out, and then drawing the leg back in, also working into the inner thigh as well. So imagining that you are resisting something as you start to squeeze that inner thigh in, and then you are resisting as you start to bring the leg out. Beautiful work, you guys. Make sure you're breathing, relaxing the toes. Nice. And then let's come all the way back, and we're going to start to find that balance here. So you might want to hold on to a wall, or maybe you want to just bring the hands onto the hips. You're starting to step the right toes back, the left foot comes forward, softness into that left knee, finding that core engagement, and then a slight forward hinge as you start to just lift and lower that right leg. So you're working into the glute here, that smile line underneath the glute muscle. So really imagining that you are using that muscle to lift and lower. So it's a very small movement here, really getting into the back of the leg, the back of the glute, all of those really, really important muscles here, making sure that your knee is not locking out in that left side. So you've got softness there into that knee joint. And then let's come straight to the other side. So you're starting to find your balance. You are stepping the right foot forward, and the toes of the left foot come back. Finding that core engagement, closing the ribs, shoulders are down and away from the ears, slight forward hinge here, and then you are lifting and lowering. Beautiful work, you guys. Making sure you're not gripping into those toes of that right foot. So keeping your balance here, just finding your balance before going about the movement. Nice. Lifting and lowering, not bringing any tension into that low back. So making sure you've got a core engagement the whole time, and only lifting the leg as high as you can feel the muscle contracting. You can really feel that muscle working through the glute. Nice. Let's come all the way back and staying here. Turning the toes slightly out, heels slightly turned in. We've got the feet about shoulder distance, and you're folding down into a forward fold. And then you are starting to sit back, almost as though you're sitting back into a chair, and then you are folding back down again. So releasing the head and neck, arms float down, and then you're sitting back down into a squat position. So really sitting down into those heels, and then releasing as you lengthen the tailbone up towards the ceiling, finding length through the back of the legs. And then you are sitting back down, so keeping length through the spine. The head is in the same line as the rest of the back, and then release as you come all the way down and letting it go, and sitting down, seeing if you can come down even lower, making sure those knees are not going forward of the toes, so the knees are in line with the ankles, and then releasing, hips come up, and then sitting back into those heels, and only coming down as low as what you feel to. We're opening the knees out, so the knees are tracking in the same line as the feet. You're not turning the knees inward and you're not turning the knees too far outward. So sitting all the way down into those heels and then releasing as you lengthen the tailbone all the way back up towards the ceiling. Beautiful work. And then just starting to bring the toes to point forward and the heels are in that same line. We're just folding down into our forward fold and you're just starting to lift the heel of one foot and then the other. So you are just alternating with a little heel lift here. As you do this, just finding that your hips are square to the ceiling. So seeing if you can find your weight still is through that center line as you start to lift one heel up, lowering it down, and then the other, lowering it down. Nice. Then starting to walk the feet back in toward each other and just taking a fold here. Maybe taking opposite elbow and opposite hand, just letting the head and neck go, allowing the hips to come up even higher towards the ceiling. Maybe starting to rock from side to side. You can have softness into the knees as much as you like. And then we're just going to start to rotate all the way around. So it is a full rotation all the way up, reaching up, and then exhale as you start to come all the way back down. It's a full circle here. You can just let the hips go, but I want you to make sure that you have got a core engagement the whole time. So you're keeping a neutral pelvis, you have got your core engaged, and then let's go back the other way. So starting to circle all the way up and then all the way out to the side and through the center and up and over to the other side. Keeping everything really strong here through that core, through the pelvis, and shoulders are relaxed. Nice. Let's come back through center and staying here. And you are walking on the spot. So keeping movement going here, moving the arms, moving the legs. So good. Keeping the pace, but also just taking a break, deep breaths, and now we're adding in the arms. So you're starting to bend through the elbows and then you are straightening the arms as you bring the arms forward, and we are just lowering the arms down, and then you are starting to press the back of the arms back. So palms are facing backward, keeping your walk going, but you are working into the back of the arms, bringing the arms forward, pressing back, not locking out through those elbows. Shoulders are away from the ears, jaw is relaxed, lifting those knees up high, and then let's start to bend and straighten the arms and flexing through those fingers. So you're really finding a nice flex through the fingers, opening those fingers out, then staying here, and you are pressing the arms back again. So reaching the arms forward, pressing the arms back, softness into those elbows and working into the back of the arms. And then this time we're going to stay here, and you are starting to toe tap the toes of one foot out as you start to bring the arms forward, and then bending through the elbows as you draw those elbows back in. So we are alternating from side to side with the feet. You're keeping your shoulders relaxed, the palms are facing down, and then you can turn the palms to face inward, keeping this going. So we're really getting into all of the arm muscles. We've got softness into the elbows, but you're keeping those elbows in really close here. You're working into the outer hip, the outside of those thighs. You can make a little hop through the center if you want to pick up the pace. And then let's start to open the arms out and then closing the arms back in. So you're just finding a nice open heart here, and then you're starting to bring the fingertips to come in toward each other and keeping that toe tap out to the side, maybe stepping it out a little bit wider, softness into the knees, and breathing, keeping that neutral pelvis. You've got your ribs closed, your core is engaged, and staying here. Let's keep walking on the spot. And we're starting to walk the feet out, toes turned out, heels slightly turned in, and you're coming down into a squat, and then you are starting to walk the feet back in as you come back up. So we are walking the feet out, coming down low into that squat, keeping the arms moving, keeping the core engaged, and then you are drawing all the way back in as you start to come all the way back up to standing. So keeping this going, making sure that the knees are not going forward of those toes and the knees are in line with the feet as you start to come out. coming all the way down, keeping a neutral pelvis, so the tailbone is pointing straight down. You have got length through the whole back. And then let's stay here, you guys, doing so amazing. Let's start to step over to one side and sweeping the outer arm up and then stepping the foot out, coming to the other side, and the other arm comes up and tapping the toes of that same side, and then coming through center and going to the other side. So as you continue with this is really good for your balance. It is really good for coordination. So just moving as slow or as fast as you want to here. We're floating that arm up and floating it back down. You are keeping everything really still here. Shoulders are relaxed. You've got a core engagement. Ribs are closed. Neutral pelvis. Keeping your weight really even through the foot, and then staying here. Coming to face the front of your mat, you're bending softly through the knees, and you are bringing the right arm up, and then the hips go straight back, core is engaged, and you are starting to reach the fingertips down towards the left foot, and then reaching that right arm all the way back up again. So as you continue here on this side, I want you to make sure your shoulders are relaxed, you've got your core engaged, the hips are just moving straight back and then coming straight forward, and then you're not locking out through those knees, but you're starting to really sit back into the heels. And then let's come straight over to the other side. So left arm comes up. As you start to then bring the arm down, you're softly coming down as you press the hips back, and softness into the knees and length through the spine, and then reaching, coming all the way back up. And then let's go back to that other side. So right arm comes up and you are pressing those hips back as you start to come all the way down, reaching for the toes of that left foot. And if you want to, you can bring the left arm to kind of come back, really engaging into the back of that arm. And let's come straight over to that other side. So the left arm comes up and pressing the hips back, softness into the knees as you start to bring the fingertips towards that right foot. And reaching, really using your core to draw you all the way back up, keeping those ribs closed. Now let's bring this together, softly bending through both knees as you reach the fingertips down, and then reaching the arms up, and then bending through the knees. Hips go straight back, and then using your core to come all the way back up, lengthening up, and then coming all the way down, sitting back into those heels, reaching up as you draw up from the pelvic floor all the way up out the top of the head. So really finding that nice long line here. Shoulders are down and away from the ears, and pressing the hips back, bending through those knees, and then pressing the hips forward to bring you back up to standing, making sure those knees are not going forward of the toes. So you're really sitting back into those heels, finding that the head is in the same line as the rest of the back. Beautiful work. Let's stay here and coming up. Just taking a moment here to find any movement at all, maybe a shoulder roll, just any movement through the head and neck. Now we're just finding a neutral pelvis, keeping your core engaged, palms are facing forward, shoulders down and away from the ears, and then you're just letting the shoulders come up, releasing the shoulders down and back. So just finding a rotation of those shoulders, and then bringing the hands onto the hips, and you're starting to circle the head around in one direction. So just slowly circling the head all the way around. As you continue with this, noticing that your weight is even through both feet. You've got a neutral pelvis, your core is softly engaged, and your jaw is relaxed, all of the muscles of the face relaxing, and finding your breath here, inhaling deeply through the nose and exhaling all the way back out again. And then let's reverse it, so letting the head come all the way back around the other way. Just moving slowly with this, you might find some certain parts of the neck that feel that they need a little more attention. You might want to roll backwards and forwards over those a little bit before continuing on. Just allowing yourself to really connect into your physical body, how you're feeling, all of the little stretches. Nice. Let's stay here, guys, and you're starting to just just bring the feet out a little bit wider, toes turned out, heels turned in. Keeping your hands on the hips, you're starting to bump the hips over to one side as you start to allow yourself to kind of pull back in the opposite direction. And your gaze is going to that side that you are bumping the hips out to, but you're kind of pulling the body back towards that opposite hip and just finding a really nice stretch and length through the side waist here. Nice work. Coming back through center, going to the other side. Keeping your shoulders relaxed here and keeping your core softly engaged. Now let's find a really nice neutral pelvis here. So you're just pressing the tailbone back, and then you are bringing the tailbone back through center, and then you are bringing the tailbone forward and then bringing it back to that neutral. And then we're just starting to circle the hips with that neutral pelvis in one direction. So it's almost as though the tailbone is pointing straight down. So rather than having the tailbone tucked under or pressing back, you have got that neutral pelvis. You're just circling through the waist, through the hips here, and then going back the other way. This should feel really, really good. So just finding whatever feels awesome with this, and then staying here. Inhale as you bring the arms up, and exhale as you press the palms back and the head is coming back. So you're finding length through the front side of the throat, shoulders are down and away from the ears, and then next time you press those palms out, you're coming all the way down into a forward fold. So folding down, just ragdoll the head and neck, letting everything go. Maybe wiggling through the toes, anything at all that feels good. Maybe a head nod, shake, just taking some really deep breaths in through the nose, out the nose or mouth. And then you're rolling the spine vertebra by vertebra to come back up through standing, releasing the shoulders down and away from the ears. Well done, you guys. See you again soon.